Hi, I'm Maria Parra, and this is She Said Science, Technology, Business. Welcome to She Said Science, Technology, and Business. This podcast is entering a new phase, one where we talk about real decisions, strategic thinking, and no-nonsense money. Today, I have a key conversation for students who know a lot but don't know how to sell what they know. My guest today is Josué Peña, a specialist in digital marketing and high-ticket sales. But beyond what he sells, I'm interested in how he thinks when a decision is worth a lot of money. Josué, thanks for being here.
No, thank you. It's an honor for me to have you here in our home. Welcome. And it's also an honor for me to be able to share this space with you.
Thank you, Josué. I'm going to start off a bit strong. Why do you think so many talented people don't make money? And average people do.
Good question. The first question I'm going to ask you before answering that is, what do you mean by talented people?
Well, talented, let's say a person who takes 4 years to get a university degree, because we're speaking directly to university students.
Okay, perfect. So, by the way, I was always a very good student. So, because I grew up in a super strict Christian context, only child, pastor's son, imagine that. So, I always got good grades in school. I'm an engineer by profession. I have master's degrees in business in the United States, an associate's degree. So, in terms of studying, I was excellent, right? So, to answer your question, I think the reason is because they don't focus on the contribution part. What I mean by that, if I have a talent and my talent, to give a super, let's say, opposite or extreme example, if I'm a resuscitator or an anesthesiologist for cockroaches, okay, that's my talent. I'm the best in the world at anesthetizing cockroaches. Question, I'm very talented. Do you think I'm going to make money?
If you don't know how to sell it, how?
No, if there's no demand.
Well, that too.
That too, right? As far as I know, no cockroach pays well. So the problem here isn't whether you're talented or not. It's more about who you're providing your talent to.
Okay.
So the reason, to answer your question specifically, is it's not the talent itself, it's who you're going to serve with your talent.
Okay.
So I can, for example, sell a car from 1980 or 60 to a scrapyard and they'll give me $2,000. But I can sell it to a collector and they'll give me $200,000.
Okay.
Same product, different people. So the problem isn't the talent. The problem is who you're going to offer it to. Because your money or the money you're going to earn, someone else already has it. What you have to focus on is the contribution of the who and not on the talent itself. Moving from me focusing on myself to focusing on the other person, on the service, on the contribution. And when you focus on that part, then things change.
Wow. Okay. We're off to a great start. So you're saying, is sales a skill? Or is it a mindset?
It's a skill that really starts with your mindset, fundamentally.
Okay.
Because I can give you, for example, a sales script right now. Or when, for example, in my case, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And I migrated from there at 22 years old. And if they have given me the sales script I use today, it's $1 million script. But at that time, my mindset didn't even believe it.
Okay.
So at first, in terms of sales, obviously there's a process, a step by step, and we'll talk about that. But I can give you the whole step by step from A to Z, but if you don't first believe it'll work, it never will. So what I always say is, first, think of yourself as a Hollywood actor. What's your favorite movie? A movie that you really like.
Something with Joe Black. I don't remember the full name. Joe Black.
Who is Joe Black? I mean, who?
Is Joe Black?
Yeah, that one.
Who?
Is there a movie?
Yes, that one.
Okay, who's the lead actor?
Brad Pitt.
Okay, perfect. Brad Pitt. Right, so who is Joe Black? Brad Pitt. Do you think Brad Pitt, when he was reading the script, read it like, "Hi, I'm Joe Black. How are you?" Did he read it like that or did he perform it?
He performed it.
Correct. So the script he has, the screenplay to perform the movie, is the same thing a salesperson has. It's a sales script to close a deal. But if you, the salesperson, don't perform the script, don't act it well, the sale doesn't close. So that's why I always say, think of yourselves as Hollywood actors. You have a screenplay, a sales script, and you just have to use that script for 30 or 45 minutes, and in the end, you'll finish having $500 to $1,000 in that period of time, thanks to the script and your performance. So more than anything, it's like that's the way to do it.
And what would you say about someone going back to talents who has the same talent? How does one differentiate themselves from the other and be able to sell exponentially more than another person?
Focus on the who, not the talent. I'm going back to the same point. So let's say, I'll give you a simple example. I'm an electromechanical engineer, graduated from a university in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Let's suppose I'm practicing my career, right? And let's suppose my client or a person is someone who has a small factory where a generator broke down. And I have the option to go provide my talent to Henry Ford. And that happened in a real story to Henry Ford, a company, machinery, super millionaire. And both of them have the same generator breakdown,
Okay.
right? Henry Ford is going to pay me $100,000 for the same job that this other guy will pay me 100 for. Why? It's not because I'm more talented. It's not because my service is better for one than the other. It's not for any of that. It's simply because the value that Henry Ford places on that generator is completely different from this person. So that's why I say focus on who you're going to serve, who you're going to contribute to, not on the what. The what is secondary. Focus. What does the person with a lot of money need? The entrepreneur, the business owner? Focus here. And then the money comes as a result of you serving and contributing at a high level, solving a real problem for this person.
Okay.
So then the focus shifts a bit from not focusing on, oh, my talent, I'm so talented, I'm so good. No, focus on who I'm going to serve, what that person needs, what that person considers valuable, what the biggest problem that person has is. When I solve that problem, then I receive a lot of money in return. So the focus has to shift from me focusing on myself to focusing on the other person so that I can contribute and serve.
Okay. Before selling high value, how did you relate to money and pricing?
Very good question. In my case, you've probably heard the phrase, you have to work very hard for money, right?
Yes.
Time is money, right? Money is evil. The rich are bad, right? If I take out right now, let's say several $20 bills and give them to you, when you were little, they told you, when you touch money, go wash your hands. Isn't that right? Because money is dirty.
Yes.
Did they tell you that or not?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, subconsciously, they tell you all the time, money is bad. Money is dirt. Rich people had to do something bad to become rich, right? When in reality, it's not like that. Rich people are rich simply because they serve. The Bible says, and I believe in God, I respect all religions, right? But it tells us, do you want to be number one? Be the servant of all. So, what do you understand from that principle? If I really want to be number one, I have to serve everyone.
Okay.
And that's why you usually see that big businesses are the ones that solve big problems. So, to answer your question about pricing, in my case, it took me a long time to overcome or pass that barrier of understanding and breaking those limiting beliefs regarding time, money, the morality of money, and all that. And it really comes from starting to work on your own personal development, listening to different people. Today we have YouTube. I mean, it didn't even exist before, right? That didn't exist 20 years ago. Reading books like Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, going to conferences, seminars, starting to, in the same way that our parents unintentionally put beliefs in our heads, you also have to uninstall that software and install a different software in exactly the same way. By listening to and watching things like this podcast, for example, those are ways for you to start reprogramming your subconscious. That's what I'd say.
Do you remember the first time you closed a deal where you were afraid to charge?
Yes, of course. Yes, I'll tell you the exact date, September 13th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
I remember it very well because on September 13th, 2016, I made in one day what used to take me 10 months of salary as an engineer in the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
Engineering in the Dominican Republic, I earned $350 a month.
Wow.
On that day, September 13th, 2016, I made $3,500 with a single sale, a single client, and it was by mistake.
Okay.
Because he told me his name was Tim. He was the owner of an insurance company. And he says to me, Josué, I want you to help me with Instagram. And I want you to help me grow my account. At that time, I was focused on that area. And I said, well, okay. And how much do you charge me? I said, $3,500. He said, okay, here you go. And I said, excuse me, what happened? What just happened? That's why I told you, time isn't money. I mean, the whole concept of time and money just broke in my head.
Okay.
Because before, I used to work 8 hours a day, sometimes more, working in construction in the Dominican Republic really hard, in factories under the Caribbean sun to earn $350 a month. And it took me 10 months to do what I did in one day in 30 minutes. So it didn't make sense to me at that moment. So that was the moment that scared me the most.
It broke that barrier for you.
Correct. So that's why I'll say it again, to make sales correctly at first. If I tell you, look, here's the script. With this script, you'll be able to make $1,000 in the next 60 minutes. You're going to tell me that's a lie. It doesn't make sense. How can you tell me I can make?
How much did you say?
I said, exactly, $1,000 in 60 minutes. It doesn't make sense to you because your mind says it's a lie, it's a scam, it's impossible because of how you've lived before. So that's why I have to say, don't even fight with your mind because at first you can't. Act. You're an actor. Think of it like you're in a Hollywood movie. You're an actor and that's it. So it's easier to handle it that way, in that regard. But that was the moment that scared me the most. Like my head just broke and I said, okay, there's something here. I can do this. And then I started my career little by little from that moment on.
Excellent. What mistake did you make when starting out that you wouldn't repeat?
Very good question. The mistake I made at the very, very beginning was mostly thinking that I knew it all. I mean, trying to do it all by myself, my way, without hiring someone or asking for help or hiring a mentor, paying someone to teach me.
Okay.
And we see this a lot, let's say in online businesses or whatever, but not in traditional professions. For example, have you ever seen a doctor who is a cardiologist who hasn't gone to university?
Sérieux?
Who hasn't studied?
No.
So why? Because it's not possible.
Because it's a very technical career, you need certification to be able to.
Sure, but mostly the reason is because the knowledge, exactly. The mentor who teaches the other cardiologist is also a cardiologist.
That's correct.
And that cardiologist practices, right? So in business, unfortunately, we try to perform open heart surgery on a business without anyone ever having taught us, right? More than anything, it's about someone who leads by example, not someone teaching your business who's never had a business, right? So that was my mistake, and it took me a long time. I mean, I started out trying, mostly in 2013, and that first client, Tim, was in September 2016. It was 3 years, right?
Yeah.
The reason my mindset changed was because I read a book called .com Secrets by Russell Brunson.
Okay.
That book opened my mind to what the possibilities are. And so I started there, and that was 2016. So it was mostly trying to do it alone and thinking I knew it all. And you don't know what you don't know, unfortunately. It's like having a blindfold on and you don't know you're not seeing, but you're actually not seeing. So mostly that's the biggest mistake. And even today, I always question myself like, okay, in this part, am I making the right decision? Is there something I don't know? Who can I pay to move forward faster? Because what you do when you pay for information or education is a time machine. Let's say you're an expert in real estate investing or the stock market or whatever, I pay you $50,000. I'm automatically getting all your information, years of experience in a more condensed period of time. So it's a time machine. I avoid all your mistakes, all your failures for just $50,000, and I end up doing much more after that point. So that would be the biggest mistake I made, and that today I consciously always try to avoid.
Well, I think most people, 90% of people, have the same problem, and especially students who are just starting out. Well, I wanted to bring up this conversation in this new stage of the podcast because selling is a skill that university ignores, but it defines who moves forward and who stays behind. What would you say to those students who are in university right now?
Well, it depends on where they are in their career, right? So, and it might be that what I'm going to tell them they won't like. So, as they say in English, take it with a grain of salt, right? So, as I tell you, spent many years in university. I've studied a lot. Unfortunately, at least in the business part, in my experience, professors teach you based on theory and not on experience.
So
For example, if I'm a person who is 300 pounds overweight and I'm giving you advice on how to live healthy, are you going to listen to me?
it happens.
Probably not, right? So, why? Because I'm not leading by example. So, the first thing I would say is find someone who leads by example. In terms of sales, it's the number one skill that everyone has to learn. It'll help you not just in business, but also in relationships. I'm going to speak from a man's perspective, right? My lady,
Uh huh.
my wife, I won her over with a sales script. And I'm going to give you a little secret, which is the power of but.
Okay.
The but, everything after the but is emphasized, and everything before the but is ignored.
Okay.
For example, if I say, oh, look, sorry for, I don't know, speaking to you poorly, but it's just that you made me upset. What'd you, yeah,
But it's that you made me upset.
exactly. Now, taking that same concept, let's apply it to sales. Let's look at the dating part, at getting into relationships. In my case, when my lady asked me where I was from, I'm Dominican.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some Dominicans have a bad reputation for being players. Okay, so I'm not going to say I'm Dominican, so I'm not going to say it straight out. I'll say it another way.
Okay.
So it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Okay.
So it was overchecked. I said, okay, if I tell her I'm Dominican, she'll probably never give me the option or the chance for a first date.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is say I'm Dominican, but in another way. I told her I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. Okay, which means I'm Dominican, but I didn't say I'm Dominican, right? And then the but comes in.
Correct.
I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, but my family is from France.
Okay.
So, what exactly did she hear in that moment?
She stuck Fran.
What did she hear?
Fred.
I improved the lineage, etc., right? So, but she never asked me which family either. So, if she does a blood test on me, my great great grandfather is from France and Spain.
Okay.
That's true. She never asked me which family.
Okay.
So I didn't even tell a lie, and I said things in a correct way. So I said I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, but my family's from France. So it gives me the opportunity for the first date. And there he is. So in terms of sales, it would be the same. So when you're in sales or selling something, the prospect is automatically saying, what's the catch? What's the bad part? Am I going to get scammed? What won't work? What's wrong? Right? If you take that and put it there and say, instead of saying the good thing first and then the bad thing, say the bad thing first, but good.
Ah, va. What a great trick.
So, for example, if I'm gonna tell you, let's say I'm gonna sell, I don't know, med spa, Botox stuff, and facial rejuvenation and all that.
Okay, sure.
If I tell you, you're going to look very young, spectacular, radiant skin, but I have to give you injections. It's going to hurt a lot and you're going to suffer a little. I'll give you anesthesia, but it'll hurt. Now let's flip it.
Okay.
It's going to hurt a lot. I'm going to have to give you injections. I'll give you anesthesia, but it'll hurt a bit.
Okay.
But you're going to look radiant, spectacular skin, rejuvenated. I'm going to take 20 years off you. Do you want to buy now? Yes or no?
No, already. Yes, of course.
Exactly why? Because you heard what comes after. I said the same thing.
Yes.
I just flipped it.
Incredible.
So the power of the bud is in everything. If you say, let's say, this business opportunity could make me a lot of money, but I have to be disciplined, I have to work hard, I have to get up early, I have to,
Things are gone now.
they're gone. Now, if you flip it, I have to be disciplined, work hard, etc., etc., etc. But this business opportunity is going to make me a lot of money. Then things change. So the power of the bud is very important in everything in life. Relationships,
And it changes the mindset.
correct. And I'll say one thing. That is, the but is always in us subconsciously. Use it to your advantage simply by flipping.
How incredible. Wow. From psychology, we know that decisions are emotional before they are rational. What do you understand? That most students don't understand about selling. What mindset blocks sales? Is it the fear of rejection or the fear of charging what something you're selling is really worth?
Right. I think more than anything, it's the fear of rejection and thinking they can't.
Okay.
And they go into selling assuming not the sale, but the complete opposite.
Okay.
So they go into the sales call trying to pressure you to buy. And that's not selling, that's manipulating.
Okay.
So unfortunately, they're entertaining movies, but The Wolf of Wall Street, for example,
Okay.
right? It's an entertaining movie, cool, but that's not selling, that's manipulating and scamming. Selling is me as a salesperson looking and seeing if you really have a problem. And if I consider that you have a problem, I offer you a solution to that problem based on me wanting your best interest.
Okay.
Not in my interest, even though I'm going to make money, right? When you change the perspective from me to focusing on serving, then things change. It's more than anything, the intention with which you sell. Now, the problem is that they don't have structure. For example, I used to dance bachata and merengue and salsa, right? I wanted to dance bachata and merengue and salsa, man. And why? Because I wanted to ask the girl to dance. But I couldn't because I stepped on her heels. I had two left feet. It was terrible. What did I have to do? Learn, hire a mentor to teach me how to dance. Now today is different. The same thing happens in sales. You can't pretend to try to go into a sales call or a business or whatever like crazy, thinking it's going to go well. It's going to go wrong,
Of course.
right? It's going to go wrong. When you already have structure in selling, serving, it's like a dance that you are leading, things change. I'll show you an example here on camera. Make a fist like this.
Like this?
Yeah. So normally when people think of sales, it's you and me against each other.
As I?
You have objections, I have to handle the objections, I'm a ninja, ta-da-ta. So what happens if I do this? Automatically, you start pushing back,
Of course.
right? And I didn't tell you anything. I didn't tell you absolutely anything to do.
Okay.
Okay, now, that's what most people do. Now, if I do this, give me your hand. Then I grab you and I lead you, and it's much easier. So if I'm like this fighting against you, it's different. If I do this to your hand and lead you, then it's already different. So that's what happens in sales. The person is like this, fighting one against the other, versus I shake your hand, I lead you, I'll ask questions to see how I can help you. In real terms, what does that look like? On a sales call, I'll tell you, look, the purpose of this call is to see if my product or service is something that will work for you.
Yes.
If I feel it'll work for you, I'll offer it to you at the end.
Okay.
If I feel it won't, I won't offer it to you. That's the first thing I say in the first minute or two of the call.
Okay.
That's part of what the script is. That's the first thing I say on the call. The second thing I say is, okay, do you have anyone else who helps you make decisions? Or partner? Business partner, spouse, partner, whatever? Or are you the final decision maker? If they say I'm the final decision maker, I've just handled the number one objection everyone gives, which is let me talk to my wife, my husband, or my partner. And I handle it in the first 2 minutes.
So,
I handle objections by preventing them, not reacting to them. So if they tell me, no, I don't have anyone else to help me make decisions, I have two options. I have the option to reschedule the call to, right? Have both people on the call, or I already know. At the end of the call, they'll tell me I have to talk to my wife or husband. So I like to handle objections before they happen, not after, because that's when you and I start fighting against each other. However, if I lead you from the beginning, things change and your guard is lowered.
correct. And what kind of objections have you encountered in sales?
The main ones are, let me think about it. This isn't the right time. I have to talk to my partner, wife, husband, etc.
And how do you solve them?
I just told you how I solved the partner one. I solved that at the beginning. Now, during the call, before presenting the product and service, after I've asked what are called discovery questions, that is, me understanding your pain, the why, what your real problem is, I ask you, okay, if my product and service, my program, whatever I'm selling, is something that'll work for you, is there any other reason why you wouldn't make a decision today if it's financially viable?
So,
I ask you, are you here to make a decision? Yes or no? Today, not tomorrow, not the day after, etc. What does that do? I handle the two objections of I have to think about it and that now isn't the right time. So I handle the objections again before presenting the product and service before it happens. That way, by the end, I don't have any objections because I've already handled them before.
Before. Wow. Okay.
But I repeat, it's all a script, all step by step, and something with which obviously I have experience since 2016.
Yes.
In fact, 9, 10 years. I feel like a dinosaur in this world, practically. But all of this at the beginning is with a script, literally reading. You have to read the script, practice it. And on calls, you can literally be reading the script. So that's really the best way to do it.
Jose, and for the students who are interested in learning more about the world of sales, does your academy offer to teach them how to sell a product that they bring in, or do you guide them? Like, you can do this, you can go this way.
Both things. For example, if someone has their own product or service, they can sell it using our system, structure, and scripts. That's absolutely right. If they have nothing, we also show them, look, there are people, businesses, products, influencers out there. There are so many who need more salespeople, more people in sales, and you can leverage their business to sell. And I'll give you an example. My father is 60 years old. He wasn't born into the matrix like us with cell phones and all that. What do you need to have? A calendar and WhatsApp. If you know how to use those two things, you can sell. In terms of technology, and my father, in the last 12 months, he has sold $1.4 million. And he's taken home in personal commissions himself over $200,000 in personal commissions. So I think on Saturday, 2 days ago, today is Monday, he made like $1,000-something or $1,500 in personal commissions in one day. And he's not selling his own product. He's selling the product of a company that's actually here in Miami. He lives in New Jersey. And he sells the company's product. They do a consultancy for e-commerce on Amazon, and he sells the company's product to the company's prospects, and he does it entirely digitally. So the advantage of this is that you can start generating income even more than many engineers, lawyers, doctors. Then do it all in a period of 12 weeks versus 5, 10 years. 12 weeks at most. It takes you to train, you learn to sell, and in 12 weeks you start billing. I mean, it's literally that simple. I know it sounds a bit crazy, especially when you compare it to the traditional world, but in the digital world, money moves very fast. And that's the advantage it has. I have a ton of interviews from people who are single mothers, who lost everything in a divorce, worked at Chick-fil-A frying chicken. Today they have a house, they invest in real estate, they spend time with family, and they make $15,000 a month.
What a blessing.
So, and they do it from home, right? So today, I repeat, when you understand that it's not your talent that'll take you far, it's your contribution. It's who you're going to serve. And in this case, if you think about it, every business owner, the number one problem they want to solve is they want to grow it. They want to sell more. Okay, if I focus on solving that problem for the business owner and I help them sell more, I consequently make much more money. And that's what I realized in my career since 2016, that when I focus there, I make a lot of money. So that's what I would tell all the students, that they have to focus on that part in particular.
And well, for the students who are interested in this, it's an incredible opportunity. You give them practically everything. Not just the script, but exactly what they have to do to.
Correct. What to sell, how to do it, the system, the script, everything. The step-by-step from A to Z.
Excellent, excellent. Without getting into techniques, what differentiates someone who sells cheap from someone who sells high value? Why does charging more require more responsibility?
It's not that it requires more responsibility, it's that it requires you to shift from focusing on the product or yourself to focusing on the other person. I don't have a pen here, but there's the famous saying like, sell me this pen, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
The problem is, if I tell you, sell me this pen, how would you sell it?
Well, this pen will help you sign your contracts daily. It's made of a very durable material. The ink lasts more than 2 years.
Perfect, meaning you spent the last 30 seconds talking about the product and you never even asked me if I was interested or not.
Okay.
So what's my point with this? Most people do that, which is fine. That's why we're here, to train you in sales.
Okay.
How would I sell the pen? I would tell you, are you in the market looking for a $500 Montblanc pen, or are you not interested?
Okay.
I'm asking you. If you tell me I'm not interested, I say thank you very much for your time. Bye. I don't even try to sell to you
Okay.
because you're not looking to solve that problem with this product.
Okay.
So it's not worth it for me to invest time trying to manipulate someone into buying a product they don't need or even want.
Okay. Sure.
So my point is that when you shift from focusing on the product or yourself to focusing on serving, things change. So the problem with people who sell cheap is that they focus only on the price and try to manipulate the other person based on price and not on value,
Okay.
right? When that changes, then you ask questions. You find out if the person needs it or not. I sell by attracting and not by chasing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a simple example in terms of relationships. What do you think of a man who sends you messages every day on Instagram? He's super intense. He calls you. He says, please, my love, go out with me. I'll give you a little kiss. He's a spectacular man. Incredible. Please, please, please. What do you think of that?
Oh, no.
Very intense, right? No.
No?
So most people, when they try to sell, they act like that. Me, 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 me. Look at the product, product, product. And they try to like, bro, that's enough already, already. Please stop now, stop now. That's why sales have to be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because most salespeople are like this. When you go from this to this, things change. And you can increase the price, the value. The difference between a personal trainer who gets you abs and the plastic surgeon who gets you abs. But in terms of value, the personal trainer charges $100 an hour, for example.
Okay.
The surgeon charges $20,000 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? Both have the same end result for the client.
Yes, yes.
This one, for me to get the result, I need to invest time. 6 months going to the gym, I need to stop eating donuts. I need to stop eating sweets. I have to put an effort on my part. And in 6 months, I see results.
Yes.
The plastic surgeon, I go to sleep. I wake up, I have abs, it hurts for a week, and that's it.
So you prefer the surgeon?
I'm talking about the value, about the reason why the surgeon can charge more money than the personal trainer.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm getting at. Not that I prefer the surgeon, because I haven't had surgery, but that's what I mean.
Uh-huh.
The reason why the surgeon can charge more is because the perceived value of what he sells is higher, faster, guaranteed results, and zero effort for the client.
Right.
The other person, a personal trainer, is the complete opposite. Results in 6 months, but it requires effort, time, dedication, commitment, and discipline. And that's what the person...
Backwards.
Exactly, backwards. So when you invest and reduce the time, the client's effort, and the guaranteed result, you can increase the price much more, and that's called perceived value.
Uh-huh. Many students know how to study, but they don't know how to communicate their value. If a student told you, I'm smart, but nobody buys from me, what would you tell them?
You put the but in the wrong place. Nobody buys from me, but I'm smart.
You see?
Okay, so that, in terms of that, flip it. That is, what you tell yourself is going to be your reality.
Okay, then.
If I tell you I'm smart but nobody buys from me, are you really smart? That is, you're telling yourself that you're not smart because people don't buy from you.
Is there?
So they don't buy from you, but I'm smart, which means that I'm going to find out and discover the reason why they don't buy from me. Then I am smart. So something very simple, how you talk to yourself is going to determine your life.
Okay.
How you talk to yourself, the metaphors you use with yourself, right?
Okay.
It's going to determine how far you're going to go in life. So in that case, if a person is smart and they're not currently buying from them,
Okay.
if they're smart, they'll find out why. Start asking, what objections are you not handling before they happen? What are you doing? How's your energy when you get on the call? Are you chasing the person, or is the person coming to you? Are you presenting the product and talking a lot about the product, or focusing on the prospect's problem? So there's small questions that you have to ask yourself. Okay, if I focus on the person's problem and not on the product, check. I handle objections before they happen, check.
Okay.
When I present the price, do I present it with confidence or super nervous? So they're little things that you learn and discover as you go.
Polishing.
Polishing, exactly. And it comes with practice. If I, for example, I used to swim or play tennis. Do you think I can be a good tennis player by reading a book and never practicing?
No.
But what if I read all the books? I'm very smart. I can technically, based on information and books, I could beat Roger Federer. But based on practice, no. So my point is that it's not just the theoretical part. Having the knowledge, you have to put it into practice over and over again, over and over, until it becomes second nature.
Okay, and going back to the Montblanc example, how would you sell it?
Okay, perfect. So give me a little context about who you are, what you do, what your profession is, because I need to know first who I'm going to sell it to.
Okay, well, let's say I'm a doctor,
Okay, a doctor. What kind of doctor?
a surgeon,
A surgeon of what?
plastic,
Plastic, perfect. What's your specialty? Lipo, boobs, BBL, facial, nose.
facial,
What part of the face? Nose?
everything.
Everything. Okay, perfect. And okay, how much does the surgery cost?
It depends.
It depends. Give me an average price.
$30,000.
$30,000. Perfect. So you're a plastic surgeon, a facial specialist. I'd ask you, what's the name of the aesthetic clinic, by the way? The surgery costs $30,000 on average. Very well. And currently, how are the clients coming in? How are you getting clients for the surgery? How are you doing that? What does organic mean? That is referrals. Okay, perfect. Very well. So how would I do that? Number one, I don't like to depend much on referrals, okay? Because that's you depending on another person to cross their fingers and tell their cousin. So that's not hoping, is not a strategy. Hope is not a business strategy, okay? So number one, I would create a process, a system to attract clients to me. So number one, how would I do it? Social media, ads, sales systems. There are a lot of channels, right? So number one, create a process to attract clients to me, not me chasing them. Number one. Two, for me to sell you the $500 or $1,000 Montblanc pen, right? What's the brand name? Your first name and last name? How would you put it like that?
Venus.
Venus. Okay, Venus facial surgery.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. I'd ask you, and who has been the biggest client you've had in your clinic? Like a Brad Pitt.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You've had Brad Pitt? Perfect. Very well. Look how I do it. Okay, when Brad Pitt went to Venus facial surgery to get facial reconstruction and went to sign the contract, how did that moment feel?
Incredible.
Why? What felt incredible about that moment?
Yeah, it broke a barrier regarding my clients.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Excellent. And I imagine the aesthetic clinic is super nice, luxurious, feels good, smells great, right? Everything's great. And when Brad Pitt went to sign the contract, do you think he had a pen that represented Venus facial surgery or not?
No.
Hmm. And would you like to have a pen that represents the brand, the aesthetic, the luxury? For Brad Pitt's referred clients when they're going in for your surgery.
Yes.
Okay, look, here's the Mont Blanc. How would you like to pay for it? Credit card, debit, or bank transfer?
Okay. And what if I say I do have the pen?
I won't sell it to you. I'll ask you. Okay, perfect. What made you buy that pen at that time?
Okay.
When you got that Mont Blanc pen, what made you buy it at the time?
Well, the sense of quality,
Okay, perfect. And how long have you had it?
5 years.
Okay. I imagine it must be running out of ink by now.
Yes, yes.
So look, what I'm going to do here is I'll give you another ink refill. And I'll give you this other pen, which is a Ferrari limited edition, okay? It's a Ferrari Montblanc. It's worth $1,000, and I'll give you the ink for that other pen for free. How would you like to pay? Credit card, debit, or bank transfer?
I'll write the check now.
Exactly. So my point is, I didn't even talk about the pen. If you noticed, I only said at the end it's a Ferrari limited edition. I didn't talk about the pen or the ink or the quality. I didn't talk about any of that. I talked about the status, about how it makes you feel, what happened at that moment, etc. So that's why I have to ask discovery questions to understand who I'm selling to. Not try to sell a product that I don't even know if you want.
Sure.
And if you have one, like you told me you did, for example, I have to ask, what made you buy that pen when you bought it? How long have you had it? I imagine the ink is running out. It's been 5 years already, right? So again, they're discovery questions that I have to ask as a salesperson to know if I should sell to you or not.
How incredible.
And by the way, if he had told me I'm not interested, I'd say, okay, cool, thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and that's it. I don't even try. I don't try to sell you something that I know won't work for you.
You won't want it.
Exactly.
Now I'm going with a slightly uncomfortable question. What live do you see the most on social media about marketing and sales?
That you're going to become a millionaire overnight without doing anything.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, we live in a microwave world where we want everything like this immediately without putting in effort, right? I'll tell you a story. In my case, because although I made $1 million by 2018, and I was 25 years old at the time, I ended up losing it all in debt less than a year after making the million. And I ended up working as a cashier at a gas station here in Miami, in Miramar.
Hi.
So, and it was from being at the top to falling. So, what happened there? I focused on sales, made a ton of money, but then I got into the bottles, the women, the yachts, the Lamborghini, this and that, right? Typical. And I started investing in things I didn't know about. Again, I thought I knew it all.
Okay.
I didn't hire a mentor for how to manage money.
Okay.
And I ended up losing it all and dead close to $950,000, almost $1 million.
Okay. Wow.
It took a lot of work to get out of there, to get out from literally way, way down.
Okay.
So much so that in the middle of the pandemic, I was working as a cashier and I wanted to, well, not live anymore, so to speak, right?
Okay.
It was a very hard time. But the biggest lie is that success comes easy, that success comes overnight without putting in effort. And I say that success is simple, not easy. Simple is, for example, driving. The first time you drove, I imagine you were super nervous because it was a lot of things. In my case, my dad told me a real man drives a stick shift, right?
Okay.
Right, you know?
Right.
And so it's like, do I have to shift, step on the clutch, steer, look at the rear view mirror, watch the car? And it's like many things all at the same time. At first, it feels totally overwhelming. Like, this isn't going to work. This isn't for me.
Yes.
After practicing, it becomes simple. You can work the clutch and also chew gum and talk on the phone. So what I'm getting at is when you understand that success is simple, not easy, simple, and there are certain things you have to do over and over again, it's not going to come overnight. It can come fast if you focus on the right vehicle, but back to the but, you have to put in the effort because it's not going to come easy. It's going to come simple, and it could come fast, but not easy.
Okay.
So that's what I'd say is the biggest lie about money. And also, in my opinion, and this is going to sound crazy, it's easier to make $1 million or $100,000 than to make $30,000 in a year.
Really?
It's easier. The reason is because when I worked as a cashier at the gas station, I was paid about $15 an hour. My annual salary was about $30,000 to $40,000.
Okay.
And that was much harder than what I did when I left working as a cashier, which ended up being $1 million in 6 months. I mean, we're talking about you working very hard from 5:30 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon every day. And that's much harder than selling.
Of course.
But why? Because you're not working with your hands and effort and time, but with your mind. So back to the topic. When you focus on developing your skills, your mindset, your knowledge, the skill that serves others, you focus on contribution, things change. So the biggest lie is that success is hard. Success isn't hard. Success is simple, not easy or hard. It's simple.
Now, going back to when you lost everything and found yourself in a job that didn't make you happy, for those students who might be going through a similar situation, how did you get out of that situation? What made you keep going?
Well, first, by stopping playing the victim.
Okay.
Stopping playing the victim. You have to understand that everything that happens to you in life is your responsibility and your fault, both the good and the bad. So there's a saying by Tony Robbins that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Uh-huh.
Life doesn't just happen, life happens for you. In my case, I can look back and see, for example, that event which was very painful. I didn't like it. I was literally at the lowest point of my life.
Uh-huh.
And it was something for which I'm thankful today because it built the Josué of today.
Uh-huh.
right? So when you understand that life happens for you and everything in life has a purpose, it's like a video game. You have to get to the next level. And if you don't, the same thing will keep happening to you until you learn that lesson. So you have to take absolute responsibility for where you are standing the day. What are your habits? You spend your time drinking, smoking, partying? Or do you have the right habits? Do you spend your time complaining?
Uh-huh.
Right? Where's your butt? So, a very simple and easy example, and I, as I said, am a Christian. I believe in God. God doesn't bless the person who complains,
Uh-huh.
or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. I'll give you an example. The people of Israel, when they were going to enter the promised land, what happened? There were 12 people. 10 of them said, the promised land flows with milk and honey. It's rich, it's abundant, but it has giants, and they see us as grasshoppers. That is, they put in their own minds how others saw them.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't true, but they believed it was so.
Uh-huh.
They complained. What happened? They never entered the promised land and they died. There were two, Joshua and Caleb, who said, yes, there are giants, we have to fight, but the land is rich, milk and honey, and God promised it. Those two did enter, and they conjured it. So, back to the topic, the power of the but. If you complain based on your current situation, you will never get out of there. Never. When I was in victim mode, poor me, I lost everything, I'm in debt. In that case, my uncle had died, whom I loved very much. He was like a father. My grandfather had died. I couldn't go see him in the Dominican Republic. At that time, I was also with someone else. They dumped me. It was a long distance relationship. It was like everything bad in my life happened in a very short period of time. I was like, poor me, but why me? This isn't fair, etc., etc., etc. And a friend told me, hey, Josué, that's enough already.
Uh-huh.
Stand up, wake up, go for a run. I mean, go for a run. Run as fast as possible. And let's talk when you finish and your tongue is on the floor. I did that and said, okay, let's do this and this and this. So I took personal responsibility, but also when you're in a victim state and all that, the first thing is your mindset. You have to get that out. And the best way is to exercise. So I would say exercise, stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking, stop going out partying all the time, focus and get to work. Take absolute responsibility for everything that happens in your life, both the good and the bad. It's all your fault.
Are there any tools that you recommend to students who have already trained their brains to think that way, like a victim complaining? How can they reprogram their brain to get out of that? What tool?
Right. A week and a half ago, I was at a Tony Robbins event, and they gave me a very, very good tool. And it's the following. Write down what it is you want in life, right? Let's say success in relationships, finances, and money, and fitness, health, etc. Good.
The what?
Write down what you have to do to get it, and write down what you don't have to do, meaning the opposite.
Okay.
Let's focus on the opposite part, because I believe that negative energy, the energy of not hate, but anger, is very powerful,
Okay.
especially to like get out, jumpstart a car to get out of that zone.
Uh-huh.
So think about if you're in victim mode today. Okay. You're stuck in a current situation. Okay. You have a goal, you know what you have to do, but you're like, I can't. I don't know what.
Yes, Sam?
Okay, let's go 10 years forward. How would you feel? What would you say to yourself 10 years later?
Get out from there.
You call yourself an idiot, blah, 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 right?
Is that?
10 years. Let's go 20 years. Let's go 30. But yeah, do the exercise.
Is it?
Meditate and think. And think about 90-year-old Josué being in the same place he is today, complaining about the same thing. What would you say to that person? You'd say, he'd say every bad word in the world, right? Okay, now come back to the present. You have a chance to change that future today. What would you do?
Wow.
So the reverse, right?
He changes.
So when you focus on what you have to do, sometimes it doesn't work. But when you put that into the future and you realize like, hey, I would be a complete idiot, right? If I don't do anything about it, I change.
Mm-hmm.
And everything in life is a matter of you tying things to emotions, negative or positive. and usually the negative ones are stronger. For example, you probably remember where you were on September 11th, right? 9/11.
Uh-huh.
Me too, but I don't remember where I was on the 8th, the day before, or the day after, right?
Yes, the most impact.
Exactly. But why? Because we tie in the emotional part, and in that case, it's a negative emotion.
Okay.
So anything that gives us a hard emotional shock, we remember it, and it changes our being and our actions. The same then, in this case, I would say tie an action or a negative emotion to your future. If you don't change, and then you're going to change in your present.
A very good tool. What kind of person would you say wouldn't be good for high ticket sales?
What kind of person? A person, well, someone who has bad habits.
Okay.
But back to the point. A person can change their habits.
Uh-huh.
So, believe it or not, this doesn't come naturally to me. I mean, I'm an introvert naturally. I didn't grow up in a context where I was taught to sell.
Okay.
Actually, it was Josué, stop that, go study.
Uh-huh.
Stop playing on the computer. I wasn't playing, I was working, but stop that, go study. We're working engineering, which is what you went to college for. So, this doesn't come naturally to me.
Okay.
Everything's been developed. So, I'd say a person who can't do this is someone who simply says they can't.
All right. Okay.
As simple and straightforward as that. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you saw someone who's 30, 40 years old crawling like a baby in the street and pooping their pants?
Well, no. I hope I never have to see that.
Because that would be weird,
Sure.
right? It'll be very weird. But what happens? Babies get a pass because it's a baby. They don't know, right? But imagine if the baby says, you know what? This isn't for me. I'll pee my pants for the rest of my life. This isn't for me. Walk it. I'm going to crawl for the rest of my life. Imagine a man in the street peeing his pants and crawling around here on Biscayne. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, you're like, sir, how is it possible that 30 years later you didn't learn something so simple?
Yeah.
Because you thought you couldn't. Because at first, when you tried to walk, you hit the sofa. Because you fell 20 times.
Those thoughts and limiting beliefs.
Exactly.
And how can a person identify that they have those limiting beliefs and get them out of their life?
If complaints come out of your mouth, that's one of the problems. So, one thing, something important I have to say. It's not like you're just going to sing kumbaya and everything will be solved.
Okay.
You have to have a map and a step by step to be able to get where you want to go. I mean, that's obvious, right? So I can't expect to go from here to Orlando or from here to New York without a map or a GPS. It would be absurd on my part because I don't know where I'm going. So it's the same here. You need to have a map, a step by step, so you can know where you're going to end up. That's one. Two, to overcome limiting beliefs. Once you start realizing that you're complaining, change it immediately. Try to make a conscious effort on that part. Playing the victim is saying, I can't, poor me, this doesn't work for me, etc. Just change it. That's part of the process.
Okay.
I haven't seen the first baby who walks on the first try.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But I haven't seen the first adult who spends their whole life crawling either.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Is it?
Why? Because that adult who used to be a baby crawled in several stumbles, enough until he learned to walk. It's the same in life and business and everything. But you need your step by step to learn how to walk. It's the same here. That's what I'd say. And don't complain. Like, nobody likes the victim role.
Eliminate it. Now, we're going to play a little game where I'll say a phrase and without thinking too much, you'll tell me one word.
Okay.
Selling for use.
Serving.
The most expensive mistake in sales is
Talking too much.
something nobody told you about charging.
It's easier than you think.
Okay. A decision that changed the game for you.
A decision that changed the game for me. Life. For
Example.
a decision like stopping complaining.
Okay. An uncomfortable truth about digital marketing.
It's easier to sell by attracting than by chasing.
Okay. If you spoke to your student self, what would you say?
Stop wasting time playing video games and get to it. Focus on your future.
Okay. Without tactics or promises, what are three mental skills a student should develop if they want to live off digital marketing?
Focus on contributing and solving problems. Develop stability and start surrounding yourself with the right people.
Okay. Jose, what do you think about diversifying?
And investments, you may.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That idea of diversification is correct, but we're back to the but.
See if you.
You have to know how to do it, like everything in life.
Okay.
No, I mean, one thing is making money and another thing is managing money.
Okay.
They're different skills. So if you want to diversify, before you invest money in anything, educate yourself.
Okay.
Educate yourself on what you're going to invest in. Don't try to invest in something you don't know, don't understand, haven't studied, haven't trained for, etc. So recently, for example, I set a goal at the beginning of the year to invest in real estate
Okay.
in 2025. September came around, 2025, and I hadn't done anything. What did I do? Okay, that's enough, Jose. I have to get moving. We invested $50,000 in a mentor to teach us.
Okay.
$50,000, right? What ended up happening? 10 properties by the end of the year in Ohio, right? But why? Because of the mentor. Thanks to him. But I had to take action. I had to invest. I had to wake up, like get moving.
Sure. Wake up.
Correct. So I'd say that more than anything, you have to move. You have to stop thinking someone's coming to save you. Nobody likes the victim role. You won't find a partner either. So the men listening, like this. You're not going to get the beautiful woman of your dreams if you play the victim role. Nobody likes that. And if you're a student, and I remember, let's say 20, 21 years old, probably no girl likes you either. Because you have no life experience, you have nothing, you complain a lot, you spend your time drinking, video games. I mean, you wouldn't even date yourself. It's the truth, right? So I can speak about men because I know how men are. I was that too. But when you understand, okay, I have to change, and everything in my life is my fault, both the good and the bad. You realize that your life can improve and you can get married, date the girl of your dreams, the very beautiful woman, everything, all of that is possible. But for that, you have to change first.
Thank you for this conversation, Josue. I think today it's clear that selling isn't manipulating or trying to grab the customer or force the sale. It's knowing how to communicate the value in what you're selling.
Sure, and asking questions to really discover if you have a problem or not.
And if you're a student and this made you a bit uncomfortable, it's probably because nobody taught you this part. Save this episode and keep learning with She Said Science, Technology, and Business. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josue.
A pleasure.